Welcome back to the Microsoft Sentinel Data Lake video series. In this video, we're going to explore how to query Sentinel Data Lake using the Kusto Query Language, KQL. Start on the Defender homepage. To run queries against the data lake, select KQL Queries under Microsoft Sentinel and the Data Lake Exploration blade. This is going to bring up the KQL Queries page, where we're presented with a multi-pane page, and we'll talk about each one of these sections. On the left side is the schema tree, which displays the different workspaces you have access to and can query. If permissions allow for the viewing of multiple workspaces, you can also use the workspace picker titled Selected Workspace in the upper right corner to select the different workspaces you want to have available to query. Select or deselect those as needed. In the schema tree, the different tables are categorized, allowing you to drill into those. Under Assets, tables are available, and we can look at the schemas for each one of the tables. Let's say for the Entra Users table, we want to see what columns are available. We can drill into Entra Users and get those column names, which will help us start to form our queries. The same goes for activity workspaces, such as this Log Analytics workspace for Woodgrove. We can drill into the Devices category, which lists a handful of different tables available. Here we can review the schema for Device Info, for example. Also in the schema tree, or in the schema panel here, there's another tab called Queries, which provides a handful of sample queries we can use to get started. If you have an idea of what you want to look at, you can use these sample queries. Let's go back to the schema view. In the upper center pane of this page, this is where we craft our query. There's already a query in place. If you have an idea of what you want to look at, you can use these sample queries. For this example, I'm querying sign-in logs, and I'm joining the Entra Users table with the User Principal Name table. The nice thing about the query panel is that it provides access to IntelliSense. For example, if I delete User Principal Name and enter a dot and start to type ahead, it will show that User Principal Name is one of the available columns, and I can go ahead and select it. Also, in the Query Panel pane, there's a Time Lookback dropdown, allowing you to specify how far back for the query to look. By default, it allows for the last 3, 12, and 24 hours, up to the last 30 days. Or you can specify a custom time range going all the way back to 12 years based on how much data is in the data lake. In this case, we'll keep it at 24 hours. Select Run Query, and it'll populate in the results pane below. Once the results are populated, we can drill into those if we want to get very specific information about the columns and get a much better view of the data. Even if the results contain nested data, we can dig into that nested data and see the different objects that are part of the results set. If you've run queries in the past and you want to be able to rerun them, and maybe you didn't save them, the Query History tab can always be used to review the different queries that were run over time. Maybe there's one that was ran a couple days ago. You can select it and open it back up in the editor. Let's say that the query that's running is going to take a while, and we don't want to sit and wait for this query to finish processing. We can actually run this query as an async query. Instead of selecting Run Query, select the drop-down arrow next to it, and then select Run Async Query. This will prompt you to give the query a name. So I'll call this one Sign-in Logs Async 2, and then I'll run this async query. The query name will be important to be able to find the results based on the query name. Again, I'll select Run Async Query. The job will be submitted, and a pop-out message will appear stating that the query results will be available for the next 24 hours. It immediately takes you to the Async Queries tab in the lower center pane. If I refresh the view, it shows that the sign-in logs async query I just ran is in progress, and we'll wait for the results to show up. Now that we've refreshed our Async Queries pane, it shows that the sign-in logs async 2 job is completed, and there are almost 16,000 rows. To populate those results, select the checkbox and select Fetch Results, which will display the results. It's pulled those results out, and again, just like with the original query, we can drill into the nested information as necessary. We went through a lot of different pieces of functionality here around KQL. We were able to query the data lake directly using the KQL Queries page, and we created asynchronous queries and retrieved those values once completed. I hope this was helpful, and we'll see you in the next video. Get started with Sentinel, aka.ms/get_started/sentinel_data lake.